project. I used to be an emergency nurse, so a bit of a pendulum swing there. But as much as I loved my career in nursing, I just had this knowing deep down that I was meant for bigger things. And
we also have this dissociation to money, to value, to consumerism, consumption, and tearing people down. Now, there is a level of superficiality to externalizing our value by the things that we buy. That happens, that's true.
My ego is the thing that's driven me, and I'm not ashamed of that at all. I'm so grateful for that, because if I didn't have it, where would I be? Probably still a nurse. Like, who am I behind closed doors? I'm Candice Ingram. I'm someone who values health and fitness and loves to go for a beach walk and reads Akatar, and just still being the human and the girl and the daughter and the partner is all those things. If all of those go away, I'd probably find some way to create my own stage.
Welcome to the Life by 8 podcast. We have the absolute pleasure of having Candy, I don't know if it's Candy Creatrix or Candy Ingram, or how do I say your surname?
My surname is Ingram.
Ingram.
But everyone knows me as Candy the Creator.
Candy the Creator. That's what I... So, you know that this podcast starts with one word. And when I think of this word, this is what this marketing genius has created, is that this word is so attached for me to her. And that word is iconic. So, you know I love words, and I want to speak about the history. So the etymology of the word iconic is, it derives from the Greek word, and I will fuck this up, ekonikos, relating to an image, rooted in icon, likeness, image or portrait. And it entered into the English language in the mid-1600s. But it originally described artistic portraits or statues. So hence when we say, like, that's an icon. Right? It has evolved from representing religious images to denoting a widely recognized symbol of famous representative figure, which we're going to go deeper into when we speak about identity and marketing with the Queen herself. So the breakdown of the etymology, as I said, is ancient Greek. The adjective emerged meaning of a statue. It is a modern usage. While historically it's been tied to art and religious icons, the modern popular usage of iconic is this woman herself.
Oh, stop. Keep going. I love it. Wow, your flirting game has increased massively.
I learned so fast. I learn and I do the things that I embody.
That's so good. You know.
Candy, tell me about you, the iconic queen that you are. Tell me who you are, what you do, what you're about.
Well, thank you, Rebecca, firstly, for having me on this podcast.
Pleasure.
And of course, it just is so iconic and so on brand that we just start with this word iconic, because when is this podcast launching, by the way?
Oh, probably like March.
Oh, okay, great.
Yep.
So by then, I would have launched my next thing in business, which is I'm running a 200-person event, 200-person multi-speaker event called Iconica.
Of course you are. This is perfect timing. How exciting.
So I'm just, when you said to me on the other day when I saw you, like, yeah, our word's going to be iconic. And I was like, skills. Yes. And everything, like, I'm currently in the marketing campaign to launch and announce Iconica, and just every single time I put out a seeding reel or just like a coming soon, like a teaser reel, everyone's like, oh my God, this is so iconic. The photo shoots, it's iconic, it's iconic, it's iconic. And I'm like, well, you just wait until you hear the name of the thing, which is so great. So I am a business mentor. I work specifically with women to scale their personal brand online. I teach them how to build a high converting content asset, and also how to lead themselves into fulfilling their soul prophecy, which is then the extension of who they are at their core. Mm-hmm. So I love talking about personal branding, who you get to become when you allow your soul to design your business, and then also how to then bring that into your content and actually make your business profitable.
Awesome. So how long have you been doing that? How did that skill set come about? How have you created your own brand to be iconic?
Yes. Well, I started my business turned 2 in November.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And prior to that, it all started, I changed my name over to Candy the Creator on Instagram. It all started as I was creating content for 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs. So I was actually more in the content creator realm, and that just kind of started as a passion project. I used to be an emergency nurse, so a bit of a pendulum swing there. But as much as I loved my career in nursing, I just had this knowing deep down that I was meant for bigger things, and I had more of a iconic life to live, I guess. I just knew that I wasn't meant to live the mediocre lifestyle. And I put myself in rooms, I put myself in personal development rooms, started to learn about human consciousness, about entrepreneurship, and it kind of was like one of those things where, you just like figure out that you're really good at something on a random Tuesday. Like that's how I feel content was like for me. I just randomly discovered I was really good at creating it, and I just had a love and a passion for putting together videos with musics and putting editing over the top of it, and people in this industry, in the space, started watching me, and I got invited to create content for a previous mentor of mine for his events. And then it was in that moment where I was like, I'm really good at this. I'm going to pitch him. And that was the first time I ever pitched anything in my life, and I was shitting myself. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So then I started taking content at events for entrepreneurs, creating content for them, so helping them build their personal brand and scale their personal brand. And then every time I went to an event, I would meet my next client, and it just happened. Like I didn't even try, but it just organically grew, and the results spoke for themselves. I was getting better results for my clients via just me and my phone compared to professional videographers and photographers. Like it just became inevitable, and Candy the Creator really stuck. I started doing events, and you came to one of those events.
I did.
Like, oh my God, that was multiple eras of me ago. Different human back then. And they just began to evolve over time, and I pivoted, like as I was scaling my business, I pivoted kind of away from the creating content for people to then teaching people how to create content for their business. And I kind of transitioned more into like the mentor role. And over time, as my business continued to just scale, I just kind of delved more into the personal branding, but then also more of like the business energetic side of things. So going into like the more mentorship role, and that evolution continues to grow and expand. And I think everything that I do is rooted in being iconic. Every photo shoot, every launch, every event I do, every rebrand I do, everyone's just like, oh, here she goes again. More iconic. How can she even get more iconic? And it's just been a cool thread that I've just really lent into in my business. And now we're here launching the biggest event that I've ever ran.
Which will be iconic, I'm sure. So why do you do it? Why? What's your why?
What's my why? Outside of my mission, how I really got into this was, for me, I just know I have such a huge potential. I just know I have so much to fulfill in my life. Like I talk about fulfilling my soul prophecy. And for me, that really looks like knowing that there's a next piece, and it's my due diligence as a soul experiencing human life to experience that. And I've always kind of had this feeling and knowing that if I got to the end of my life and saw everything that I came here to do and be and didn't fulfill that, like what was the point? So for me, it's all about fulfilling my potential and living life to all of its expression, of my soul's expression.
What's even under that? What's even deeper than that?
Deeper, I feel when I think of how I've created my business and what I continue to do, is it's just like this full expression of little Candy, like my inner child. She was a dancer. She would perform, and it just feels like I was meant to do this.
Mm. And what does that mean for your clients?
It means for my clients that they get to be led into their soul sovereignty through embodiment and integrity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when you walk down the middle, I'm assuming you have an aisle at some of your events. When you walk down there, what's happening in your soul? Like, what's happening in your body at that moment?
It's just like pure bliss. Like, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why I've done, like, I did over 20 events in 2 years. Like, I was just on it back to back to back. And it's one of those things when I'm running events and when I'm speaking on stages that everything else in the world just goes quiet. Like, I go into that flow state. I go into just, this is me. And it just feels amazing. And it just feels so aligned.
And what happens when that stage isn't there?
I'm usually working on building the next stage. Yeah, no, this is so good. Yeah, I definitely I'm just always working on the next thing, which...
What happens for you? Because most humans have, if people like Tony Robbins human needs, the need for significance is a big one.
Totally.
Do you know your love languages?
Yeah.
What is your top love language?
Gifts.
Yeah.
You know that.
I already know, yeah.
Gifts and acts of service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So one of the reasons we have something called the I Am profile, and it has it's got your rep systems for NLP language. It's got your rep systems. It's got your love languages. It's got your attachment style. It's got your whatever values level you're at. All of that tied into one identity tool. And the reason, I was practicing flirting with you the other day. When I say flirting, I mean from a business perspective. And I knew that receiving gifts was yours. I could work that out from what I know of you. So that was noticing that you drank that drink the day before. Matcha I don't know enough about to know if it's going to be good or not. So it's I saw it. I'm I can.
That was
the receiving of that. And then, the acts of service, 100% I can see that. So the point being is when we have the need for significance, which whether people listening, because a lot of people judge people who are iconic.
Oh yeah.
Right. So we're gonna go that angle, because one of the things that in Australia especially is the tall poppy syndrome.
So fucked. Okay.
So we also have this dissociation to money, to value, to consumerism, consumption, and tearing people down. Now there is a level of superficiality to externalizing our value by the things that we buy. Mm-hmm. That happens, that's true. But there's also this ego that gets in the way for a lot of people to deny themselves of their own need for significance.
Mm-hmm.
And so it plays out in strategies and behaviors that aren't particularly healthy, all to avoid this need for significance. But they do that a lot of the time by judging other people who chase that significance. So I know that you have a love for luxury, and I'm assuming that's still there.
Yeah.
What is it about what some people would call materialism?
Mm-hmm.
But what is it about that side of the world, not that side of the world, that experience? A lot of people don't have that experience.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you love so much about it?
I think when you go into a Louis Vuitton store, it's that significance piece, right? You go into
it depends. I went into one in Milan and they were very rude, so
they were rude. See, that is actually a sales tactic though that they use.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that push-pull dynamic, right? We were talking about this the other day, but usually if you kind of show it's and it's interesting though, when you go into a Louis Vuitton store, and if you're I've played this game before just to like see what would actually happen, of like going in and being like dressed up and just like walking straight in and just going straight to exactly what we weren't looking at it, and then talking to the assistants as if like you've been there a million times. They will like just pay you. The service increases because they're like, oh, this person's been here before. They must be someone of value. They must be
somebody iconic.
Yes, they must be somebody iconic. So I've got to then tend to them. But if you go in there and you're kind of like timid and, you know, not really, you know, just dressed in your slacks or, you know, and just kind of giving off the energy that you don't belong there, they won't even give you a bar. That's really interesting. Mm-hmm. And I know that when I have gone into a Louis Vuitton store and bought something, it's just that the attention that you get, it is an essentially fulfilling a need of significance. And I totally know that about myself, and I also love that about myself. I've spoken about this publicly on my social media about ego, where I think the personal development industry and the business industry kind of shuts off ego and demonizes the ego, and it should be something that should be like alchemized and it's all a shadow and you shouldn't play into that. But my ego is the thing that's driven me, and I'm not ashamed of that at all. I'm so grateful for that, because if I didn't have it, where would I be? Probably still a nurse. That is that drive to want to be someone and to be seen and to have that significance and to be better than other people is the reason why I've gotten successful. But it's like, okay, that could be looked as shallow and invaluable. But I know also too that my level of depth in my soul conviction, in my human, is that to get that in front of more people so people can actually be led by an embodied leader and actually not just be treated as another number is more valuable. So if I'm willing to use that to get myself ahead so I can lead a movement of other women who know and are in jobs or playing out lifestyles that they know they don't want to live, and to actually have someone that they can look to and be like, she gets it. She gets it. She's not this full personal development materialistic person, or she's not this spiritual woo-woo. She's the bridge of both worlds. And if she gets it, because I know there are so many women who are sit in that void, and they're not willing to go into the spiritual woo-woo rooms, and they're intimidated by the strategy, and they look at that and they say no. I know there are so many women sitting in the middle and they're looking for a leader so they can actually honor themselves and have a path presented to them and have a permission granted that they can go after their things, and they don't have to feel bad for wanting nice things. They don't have to feel bad for working on themselves. They don't have to shame themselves for working on themselves, because I know a past version of me. I didn't even tell my friends or my family when I started working on personal development, because I was so ashamed of what would they say if I invested $3,000 to go to a course. Mm-hmm. Like, what the fuck? When did it become so anti-society, like so shunned to choose yourself and to work on yourself to become a better human?
Because it shines a light on them. Shines a light on what they're not doing most of the time. So when you choose to do the work on yourself to become a better version of you, it's not about being better than anybody else. It's about you know that there's a potential you're not reaching, so you start to lean into that. What it does is shows others that they're not doing it. Mm. So one of the things that we do is, even if we don't say anything, people put out this energy, they have a judgment on it, because then it hopes to keep you where they're happy, where they know you. They know this version of you.
Oh, yeah.
And so they want to hold on to that. Sometimes out of protection for you. Sometimes out of fear of you being, whatever they've heard, whatever story they have.
Oh,
and there is lots of manipulation. There is lots of scams. There is lots of things that happen in the personal development world, as it does in lots of different sectors and professions. But one of the biggest things is, yes, they can say it's out of protection for you, but it's usually for themselves.
Absolutely.
It's to keep they know that they're not reaching their potential, and now that you are, it creates this gap between the two of you, and that doesn't feel comfortable for them. It was more comfortable for them when you were a version of them that they could handle.
Yeah.
And one of the things that stops a lot of people is that fear of losing
people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the need for significance and the experience. So when I was in Milan, I deliberately went into all of the stores over there. I used to own a website called Fashion Weekly when I was 17, and I was the biggest tomboy. Didn't know what a beret was, but Milan was somewhere I'd always wanted to go when the years I had that platform. And I went into one and I bought sunnies. They were like 600 Australian dollars or something. I bought sunnies first because then I felt like I'd be way more comfortable. I'd be more accepted in the other stores if I had another bag with me.
Totally.
So like there was a literal, and I think I documented it online. There was like, I was fearful. This was like, I didn't feel like there was a feeling of not worthy, but also this, like, I don't really get it. Like I spent $5,000 on a Burberry trench coat and I like live in Brisbane. But it was on my list when I was 15. So I was playing with this luxury idea of what is luxury? Why do we spend money on these things? What is it about? And so I went and did that, and they were lovely. I went in, I don't really like Dior genuinely. Their makeup's okay. Didn't like the Louis Vuitton. I don't usually like Louis Vuitton stuff, but I wanted to go into every store. Versace was like the ultimate, and it's the first time I ever tried coffee. So
what?
I'd never had coffee in my life.
Crazy.
And it was gross. And people tell me that probably don't have like a shot of coffee as your first time.
No.
Yeah, but anyway, it's fine. Yeah, I can't imagine myself on coffee. I'd probably go to sleep being neurodiverse. So my point being is that there is this feeling of the experience, so I can understand that conceptually. What I wonder, which I haven't yet to find an answer, like I even bought an Audi just because it was on my vision board for 4 years and I could, and I was like, fine. And then I'm like, this is no different to other guys. Like, this is obviously my own experience. What I take from it is the experience. Like, the experience is a different level. But to me, it's about quality. So luxury brand does not always mean quality. So I've learnt that. But there is a piece of me who loves quality. So quality food. So the difference between, I mean, I still eat chips and gravy from KFC and Red Rooster. Like,
but it's pretty good shit though.
It is. But the quality of things. So for me, when it comes to what I spend money on and like my discernment when it comes to that, it's not so much about the need for significance. For me, it comes down to the quality of something. So I wonder, the reason I ask you this question is because what if that all went away?
The materialism?
The stage?
The stage.
The things. Who are you without it?
Yeah. Well, that's a question that I don't really have an answer for, because that's a big piece of my identity, and I can string together an answer and give you an answer if you want. But right now, who am I behind closed doors? I'm Candice Ingram. I'm someone who values health and fitness and loves to go for a beach walk and reads ACOTAR, and just still being the human and the girl and the daughter and the partner is all those things. If all of those go away, I'd probably find some way to create my own stage, because that's my identity. So,
is the world not a stage?
Well, conceptually, yes and no.
It's a random question. I don't have.
Yeah.
I just said it. I don't.
The world is a stage. Yeah, it is, but it's not at the same time.
Yeah, I think what I mean is there's this like energetic frequency that I was attempting to put into words before we started about you that has like, there's this depth and this kindness and this love. It's just random shit I'm throwing out. Like, it's not random. Like, these are the things that I see or feel knows there, but it's like I don't feel that in your content.
Yeah.
And sometimes in person. Sometimes I don't know where I stand. Like, that's true. I remember the first time I saw you was you were on your doing content for Nat's, one of Nat's light codes. It was before.
Oh, yeah.
So that was the first time I saw you. Like, I didn't actually meet you officially. So, like, you're still a little bit, like, off, like, as in, I didn't know, approachable. And then at your event, I came with somebody, and I remember you were doing photos at the end, and you asked if I wanted one. I said no, and walked off.
I don't even remember
I know,
that.
I didn't expect you to. But what I'm getting at, it's like, it's this weird thing where it's like, what would it mean if people saw or experienced Candice Ingram, what you say is behind closed doors? For what purpose is that not in your personal branding, in the experience that people have, even if they don't get the chance to be in your...
Because it's interesting. My clients know this. They obviously have close proximity to me, especially in my 3-day events. They see a whole range. Different, a whole range, a whole different version of me. And even like my clients that have been with me for over like a year, they're just like, they have a whole different from, I guess, the person that they meet when they first come in contact to me. Probably the first contact obviously is usually Instagram, to then in person. And I think like there is so much range that I have, like so much. And I've learned this over the years in how I run events and the way that I've gone about events. And for what purpose is it not on social media? I feel that I still feel like I'm finding a way of how to articulate that part of me. With my marketing brain and the way I create my business, it's grown so well in this particular way. And obviously I've pivoted, micro pivots throughout the journey. Obviously the more that I come to myself as well, the more expressed I feel online. Like, I mean, the way that I express now is I will happily share opinions a lot more than what I would have a year to 2 years ago. I would never have been able to say the things that I say online, and just have like zero attachment to it. So it's that evolution of figuring out, I guess, how to articulate myself in all avenues. And I know this is something that my clients struggle with as well. And I know some people come to me and they're like, well, I feel like I'm such a multi-dimensional human. And I'm like, yes, you are. You are a multi-dimensional human, and that's the best thing about you. And people get to experience the array of that in proximity. And for me, I say, if you want to build a personal brand and scale your personal brand, is you need to make yourself digestible so people can actually comprehend you. And then the moment that they comprehend you, they can build connection, they will build trust for you, and then they'll most likely move into your world. So it's not about like boxing yourself in, it's just making yourself communicable. And then the moment that people can connect with that, that's more likely going to turn into them attending an event, coming and seeing you in person. And I know that the moment that people see me in person and actually get to feel me, things change instantly. They're like, oh my God, she's so much deeper than what she shows up online. And I get that feedback all the time. And does a part of me wish I could communicate more of that part of me online? Absolutely. And I'm still figuring out a way to do that. And I know it's just a natural evolution. I mean, my beautiful partner has definitely helped me drop more into my feminine over the last few months. And I can see that part of me is slowly showing up online. Mm-hmm. But whether it's like a protection mechanism or if it's a branding play.
Because there's a flip side to it, right? Like, people talk about the word authenticity all the time. And it's like, what does that actually mean?
Yeah, and it's like that version of me that you still see online is still me.
Yes. Though then what is and this is not just specific to you, what is it that, because I have this thing, like, and I use trolleys as a metaphor for it.
Right.
It's like, if somebody is late at night, it's raining, and you're the only one in the car park, do you leave the trolley where it is, or do you go put it away? Versus if there's people around and they see you.
I don't really give a fuck if there's people watching or not.
So
sometimes it's more about if I need to get my steps in for the day and I'm like, oh, I feel like walking over. Some days I don't feel like walking over.
Mm-hmm. And then what happens when that trolley goes into somebody else's car and makes damage?
I'm not going to leave it in the middle of the road.
But the wind might come, which has happened to me.
It's happened to you. Yeah. Oh, well.
That's why I asked, because it's like, this is like a
how did you create that drama in your life?
Oh, I know. That's like 8 years ago. No, actually it'd be more than 10 years ago. But the reason I'm saying I use that as an example, even when I coach teenagers, is because how you do one thing is how you do everything, NLP language. But who we are behind closed doors versus what we are on the public stage or on the world stage. We're starting to see this unravel in society right now with everything that's going on. So people say they want to be authentic, but it's like, do you know why you do what you do? And I just had a massive conversation with a mutual friend, with Cody, about hats. His word was hats. Mm-hmm. And people wear their spiritual hat in this community, and they don't actually. I have asked probably 20 people why they wear the hat that they wear. I have never once been given an actual why. Most people don't know why they do what they do. And they wear the hat because they saw somebody else do somebody else do it, and maybe they got famous, and then maybe so it becomes like part of their branding. But when we don't know why we're doing what we're doing, how are we in alignment with our authentic self? How do we actually know who we are if we don't know why we do what we do?
Yeah, I feel like, and this is obviously my experiences, the why isn't always presented to you first. It's just like when something crazy happens in your life and you're like, why the fuck did that happen? And then it's in hindsight that you're like, oh my God, this is why it happened. And I don't actually think the purpose is to figure out the why. I think so many people dig for this. Why? What is your mission? Why do you do what you do? Why? And I think, well, what actually, if it's less to do with the why and more to do with the experience? Mm-hmm. And of you figuring out the why through the journey of trial, through the journey of this is the path that I'm going on. And I think for me, I say this because with my business, I get a lot of visions. Like everything that I've done, every event, every tour, every online training, everything, I get visions. And I just see that as like, ting, that's like the next piece. And I don't always know why I have to do that thing. Even travel. I traveled to America 3 times last year. Every time I was like, I don't know why I'm coming here. It's just why I'm here. The first time I went to America in the beginning, I didn't know why. I just had this knowing I had to go. It wasn't until I was there and I found a place called Mount Shasta that I had a huge spiritual awakening and experience. It's one of the most potent portal sites in the planet. And I was like, oh my God, this is why. Same thing. The next time I went to Hawaii to see my parents, and then I went over to Arizona. I went to a place called Sedona. Again, didn't know that place existed until I was there. Didn't know why I had to be there, just knew I had to. And it wasn't until I was experiencing it that I was like, this is why. And same thing with the last time I went to America, was basically how I met my partner. That journey of like, well, not how I met my partner, but that's when we solidified our relationship. And I was like, oh my God, you're the why. You're the why I've been called over here so many times. Like, this makes so much sense now. Mm-hmm. But if I was searching for that why, would I have dissociated from the experience of just the presence of what it was like?
Potentially, yes. And also not done anything in the first place, which is what
exactly.
a lot of people do as well, right?
Exactly.
So it's the polarity of both ends of it, because when I say, like, why is it a spiritual hat? it comes out of genuine curiosity because they want it to be part of their iconic brand.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's usually the main
It's branding,
answer.
yeah.
Though, does that in and of itself capture enough of their essence? Meaning, it's like when one person starts something and then like everybody's doing it. So like spiritual hats have a societal connotation to them now. Like it's like every fourth person has one. That's a made up statistic. My point being is that when people don't know why they're doing it, they're just modeling. So they saw it, so they'll try it or they'll do the thing. And most of what I'm getting at is it's unconscious.
Yeah, I can totally see where you're going here. It's just, is the purpose of the why to find a deeper sense of self? Because for me, it's the why eventually finds a deeper sense of self. But it's like if you don't have that knowing, then it's like, okay, well, for actual why? What is it? For what purpose?
It's basically what external, like spiritual bypassing is.
Yeah.
So like, you do the certification, so then you think you're the thing, and then you do the thing, and then, 4 to 6 weeks after leaving that room, very many people have breakdowns and it didn't go what they were told it would be.
Yep.
Sounds like you may resonate with that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I left the NLP room and didn't do anything for about 2 years. And I was like, not that I never did NLP to be a coach. I discovered what coaching was in the room. I was like, what? Yeah. I get a certificate out of this? What the fuck? And it blew my brain open to possibility. But also, yeah, I can just resonate with what you're saying.
Yeah. So then we go on this, like the possibility when we've been living in necessity. So then the world opens up to us. But then we get into a hierarchical competition of like who is the most embodied in it from that room, who's making the most money from the room at that time. And then the comparison game kicks in, and that's why that 4 to 6 weeks, the nervous system just completely shuts down to it. So your nervous system's opened up, like as in you're dancing, you've been put into a certain state, like it's feeling good. But then 4 to 6 weeks later, because your nervous system hasn't had the time to actually hold those new frequencies, that new opportunity, that the new sense of possibility, the crash is usually deeper than before they were in the room. So they usually feel worse than they did before they were in the room. And so that's in an event type experience in this personal development world. And that's more than one facilitator. That's multiple. That's very common in the space. But so is this people going from room to room to room to room, and people going from changing what they wear to trying on somebody else's thing. Like it reminds me of teenagers when... Well, I'm 39, so for us, theirs was like gothics and like people were trying on different identities. It was like every week their hair was a different colour and stuff. So we go through this piece of discovering ourselves and trying on different identities. How do you know when it's trying on something versus is?
God. What fucking type of question is that? Wow. I feel it's... like there's an element of integrity and discernment. I think you know when something isn't actually truly yours. And that's not to say that you can't try on certain hats. And I've experienced this with clients who come into my world, and they come into my world doing this lens in business, and then they kind of almost mold themselves similarly to me. Of course, via pedestaling, modeling, of course, it's quite normal. And then they get to a certain point, they're like, hang on, I've kind of gone off direction and this doesn't actually feel aligned to me. And I'm like, yes. So what is it that you actually want to do? Who actually is the you? And then they kind of like bring themselves back into like who they are. And then that's when their business grows. And I don't think it's a bad thing, because they need to have that experience of kind of steering off and being like, trying on that hat, for example, and just being like, this kind of looks cool. This feels fun and exciting. And then they get to a certain point and they're like, actually, I don't actually think this suits me. This doesn't actually look good on me. I'm going to actually put on the hat that I chose in the first place, not the one that I was influenced.
Do you know what you just reminded me of? It finally dropped in. Did you watch the movie Mean Girls?
Yeah.
Do you remember Lindsay Lohan's character?
Yeah.
That reminds me of you at times. Not that I'm saying you're mean, but when we're talking about the trying on like who we are at the soul, like the kindness and the things and the whatever, and then trying on like
Regina George's outfits.
Or like being part to want to belong in whatever
group. Yeah.
And then realizing, oh, that's not me.
Me. Yeah.
Because it just dropped in when I remember, because I was like looking at, you have freckles, and on whatever day it was, I was like, didn't have much makeup on. I was like, oh, it's so lovely. And I was like, that's fucking what it is. It's that, like, just as a metaphor or as a story, not that you're me. Look, you scare me sometimes to approach. I don't know whether I can or not.
I do have a bit of a resting bitch face.
You do, but I have been burnt by saying, do you know what resting bitch face is before? But yes, you do. You're very good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an ability to project my aura too.
Okay. What does that mean?
Meaning that if I want someone open, I will be open. If I want it to not connect, I will project my aura, which energetically puts me into a bit of a bubble and people won't come near me.
I don't know if that's a good thing, a bad thing, or a compliment, or not a compliment for me. Not sure.
That's fair. Sometimes it's a game I used to play.
I'll bring the needle and I'll burst the bubble. The piece being is like, yes, we try on these things, and bringing this, I guess, around to what makes something iconic when it comes to a personal brand, in your opinion.
Something that is iconic, I feel, is it's so much of a self-expression because no one can copy it. And it's when I see someone just fully owning their model of the world, their values, how they like to show up in the world, and just making a statement out of it. Because iconic doesn't all, like, I know what people represent iconic to me of like the luxe and the glitter and the glam and the big show energy, and that's like, it's like the disruption. It's disrupting the field, disrupting the patterning of, everyone's just doing this beige photo shoot, and I'm over here doing a photo shoot on a fucking horse. Yeah. Like, it's iconic because I'm claiming and I'm owning so much of me that I'm disrupting the patterning. And that can be in any field, in any industry. It's just the humans' desire to just fully express whatever the fuck they want and disrupting what everyone else is doing. And then people looking like, oh. And I see this as kind of like the law of one. I don't know if you know much about the universal laws. And for me, I understand the law of one is when you claim the law of one, instead of walking with the herd, you actually step outside of the herd and people see you. So it's when you become the one, you attract the many, but you can never attract the many whilst you're in the many. So iconic for me is stepping outside of the herd and having the ability to be seen in whatever that looks like.
Which is another human need, desire to be seen.
Yes.
Part of the significance. And I think to tie the conversation so far together, it's like that forcing. So wearing the hat to try to stand out, forcing yourself to stand out when it's not really you. That's when I see a system out of alignment. So one of my skills, and apparently it's in my astrological, I don't know, Jessica Ann, one of my mentors and lovely friends, talks about it. One of my gifts is to see when a system is out of integrity. That can be a person, a business, an actual step-by-step system, all of those things. And so the why is, yes, I ask that, but it's like I can see when they're just doing the thing to try to be seen, like forcing something instead of fully embodying themselves. Like there's this different energetic frequency. Because even though you'll do this thing or do this in your personal brand to stand out from the rest, it's like, you're still in the many because you're forcing yourself to try to be the one, and now the one is now the many because now many people wear the hat.
Yeah.
So I love that analogy of the fact that and I'll put a link, I'll create a document, I'll put in a link to explain the universal law of one to you guys listening. But what want to get at? What would you be scared of if you let people in? What are you most scared of? What are you most afraid of?
Abandonment. Yeah. I have always not in the past, I've had to let people into a certain degree because of that fear of abandonment, that I don't want to get hurt. It's not about people being fully, being seen. It's about being abandoned. And I've, done many work on feeling safe to actually open my heart up fully, because you can feel it. There's so much there. And it's taken me a lot of vulnerability to open up to having someone see that fully, out of the fear of being left behind or being left in general. So on a deeper sense, that's what it comes to. And then I feel like the layers up from that is, just people, for me, being fully expressed in this is me, and then people not liking that and then leaving. And that's just
what journey. What do you know you have to let go of if you were to accept that you are enough?
What would I have to let go of? I feel there's a projected identity of being perceived in a particular way.
What do you mean by that?
If I was fully good enough, I probably wouldn't. See, this is the paradox, is because I'm I probably wouldn't do all the bells and the whistles, but simultaneously there's a part of me that loves that shit. So
but there's a part of you that loves, because it's still an externalized thing.
Yeah.
And you can love it, but the thing is, it's a difference between loving it and needing it.
True. Yeah. So what I'm recognizing is a part of me has felt that I need that to be seen as worthy or valuable. And I think too is this proving myself. I still feel like I'm such a baby in business, but I want to be taken like I'm one of the big dogs. And it's almost like overcompensation to be look at me type energy. So I can see that playing out as well. And I guess here's the thing about doing so much personal development. It's I can see all these parts of me, and some of them I let play. But that's, so true. It's if I knew I was fully worthy and good enough, then I wouldn't have this need to always be so extra. It would just be I just get to do that because I want to.
Yeah, like I think the extraordinary becomes when the extra is not external to us.
Mm.
And
I'm still recognizing that. I still am yet to recognize that within myself.
the extraordinary, how extraordinary you are.
Internally, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like my biggest challenge always, is actually seeing myself.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that I have struggled with, is that I can see it in people. And I struggle with when something's out of integrity. I'm not like, as in when people aren't living in their full alignment, in their full potential, their full possibility. And it's like when you recognize, and it will come, when you can actually feel how extraordinary you actually are, so much ordinary is going to feel iconic.
Yeah, that's so great.
Like, as somebody who, and this is not about whether you want children or not or anything like that, I have gone through, and one of the things that I love is that I'm curious and I experiment with things, and I not drugs, not those sorts of experiments. I mean, like, try it. Like, I play with.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the pieces that I've worked on is how to see the ordinary moments. And some of those might be when my 8-year-old son still grabs my hand, and, you know, all the fucking tokenistic things that people tell you that, you know, save a time, they grow up so fast. Yes, they do. I get it, people. But it's actually the ordinary moments. It's like, there was a time in Newcastle I was on a tour, national tour. I stopped there, and there was like rock pools or something, and I remember turning around a corner and looking up and just looking at these, like the sun, where the sun was, where the cliff face was, and just having tears for the awe, like the magic of just the ordinary. And I feel like we forget this. We forget that the magic gets to be in the Louis Vuitton store too. But the other little things matter too. It's like holding both. All is possible. The problem is that a lot of people put emphasis in everything, and I know you are a fair bit younger than me, and I noticed this since Instagram's there's a whole lot of things with Snapchat. And anyway, my point being is that the generation under me was brought up with iconic being the goal. But that iconic piece of identity is so heavily based off of things that are outside of who we are as a human being. And I feel that what I'm excited to see for you in your evolution is being able to recognize the extraordinary in your ordinary, but in realizing the power that's in your kindness, that's in that love that you have, and that gets taken advantage of so often. And I don't even know fucking details about anything, but I know I randomly will send you a message of some sort. But when you allow that love to be seen, I truly feel that that's when you're going to realize how extraordinary you are and what true iconic means. And that's why I love doing what I do, whether that's with the childcare centres or the school, or like, and it doesn't matter of age. It's like people reaching their potential, and when something's not like, when they can be fully themselves. And yeah, I think you're at the start of seeing that, maybe.
Thank you. I definitely feel there's a slowness that's come about me in my life. So I definitely feel that. It's just the natural evolution. And however that comes about, I'm open to it. I'm a little soul floating in the earth, in the world, in the universe. And I know everything is perfect, whole and complete. So I look forward to feeling the iconic moments in the ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm most excited about the fact that we didn't speak about quantum jumping. Or leaping or whatever it is. So
has that been a comment?
No, it's just something I thought would come in. And I was like, oh, we didn't go there. That's great.
Yeah.
Because it's also something I in a podcast I did with Nat, we spoke a little bit about it. Like, what is identity and all of those things and the timelines and, my take on that. Is there anything that we haven't spoken about that you want to speak about?
I feel like we've gone into what we need to. Unless there's anything else you have pop into your brain, I feel the closing.
I think it's that I loved having the conversation with. Loved having the conversation with you around the polarity of luxury, of ordinary, extraordinary, of iconic, and I think it opens up people to start being able to see life beyond black or white.
Oh yeah.
To see the levels of grey, and thank you for bringing depth. Thank you for bringing curiosity and going wherever the conversation went. I appreciate it greatly.
You're welcome. I feel like I could just continue to riff, but
yeah. So I will put Candy's details in the captions below. Give her a follow, especially if you want to learn more about branding, marketing, and all things iconic. I look forward to seeing your event and how that goes, and for being around your world a bit more. So thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.